All right, Eric. So I know a couple weeks ago you said you had an interesting conversation. That's what made you dig into what the Fed's doing, what rates are doing, all the chatter we hear out there, which is at a level 10 for media and clickbaity stuff. So why don't you talk to us about what happened, what made you start to question this in a different level, and what you found?
Yeah, so before this meeting's over, you're going to understand why I think there's a decent chance that the Fed is going to boost home values by artificially lowering interest rates. So I know the talk right now is not about that. The mainstream media, kind of the last few days, is focused on that last PPI number and how there's inflation and all that. But that it's all kind of noise that the PPI numbers aren't that drastically different. What I think is a better indication of what's actually going to happen is what the big money is doing. And the biggest mortgage lender in the US is UWM. And UWM came out with a new program 2 weeks ago now, where they're giving you 0.9% of a basis point. In fact, here, I'm gonna show this on my screen because I made a cool AI thing. So I want to show it since I spent the time to make it. What? This is what UWM is doing.
I'm giving 0.9% of a basis point in mortgage credits for everyone.
There, you heard it from UWM, man. He's giving 0.9% of a basis point credit to everybody, which what that means is so if you're going to refinance, and this is for rate and term refinances only. But what this means for me specifically, the reason this got brought up is my lender is in a banking family who's well connected. And he called me and said, "Hey, UWM has this new program. You've got this loan that's 1.7 million on this house in Florida, and we could refinance it and get you like 5.75% interest rate on that loan." And I'm like,
Jeez.
"What?" Like without me paying to buy it down? He's like, "Yes and no. You're gonna pay to buy the rate down, but you're gonna use free money to buy the rate down. Does UWM is just going to give you 0.009 times 1.7 million, which whatever that is. Then you take that money and see how much of a rate buy down you can get, and it takes it from 6.5 down to 5.75. So in this case, like three quarters of a point. And it's not as drastic for lower price loans, but it's still you can get in the fives in a lot of cases. So why would UWM do this? Why would they be trying to get all these people to refinance their loans at low mortgage rates if they didn't know something we don't know? And what are the odds that the people running UWM know something we don't know? I think pretty high. Like the
Yeah.
the number one lender in America.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And I had talked to my mortgage broker about this too, because I was like, all right, Eric's talked to me about crazy stuff. Like, this doesn't exactly seem quite right. What am I missing here? And he verified, right? And there they use UWM almost exclusively
Hello.
for most of their loans. And so once I heard that, he was like, oh, at that rate, that lender, they might be cutting themselves off at the knees, or maybe they got a strong relationship with Eric. But yeah, that's not uncommon when UWM, and I forget who they mentioned it in the past, years past, right? 2019, I think was the last time we had any sort of decent rate hike. And we all felt the market there. I remember in July of 2019, it was like the sky was falling, right? No showings, one to two showings in a month for stuff in the five, 600s in Denver, which is low price here. And and he said, yeah, back then, before rates started dipping again, and then COVID happened, of course, which was out of the ordinary. But he said, yeah, they were stepping up and doing these large rate buy downs to get ahead of the curve. Like, all right, so talk to me. Where does that bring us for the next 3 to 6 months? And so he's on the lending side, so he didn't have too many insights, but he's like, yeah, this is not uncommon for them to get ahead of things. What does that mean to you, Eric? So they're saving you thousands a month, right, from doing this on just your property that you just got the CO for, what, a month or two ago? A couple months ago?
I got the CO for it back in September, but I just
Oh, okay.
did a cash out refinance.
Okay, gotcha. So with this then and the larger picture, like I know they're having Jackson Hole this weekend or this week, and more information is going to come out if he's hinting towards it or not. Correlating that to the housing market, what are you seeing? What is the play now? What are you prepping for and why?
Yeah, so I think we're going to see mortgage rates come down and over the next few months. I'm not going to speak to the more macroeconomic, how the economy is going to go. Probably not that great overall, but all I'm looking at is what's the housing market going to do, and that has everything to do with affordability and jobs. I don't know what the jobs are going to do, so I'm going to focus on affordability. And the only way it's going to become more affordable is we if they lower rates. And the only way that the Fed's going to lower rates on mortgages, I don't care about the Fed funds rate, and I'm going to go through what that is here in a sec. But the only way they're going to lower mortgage rates is if they use quantitative easing to buy mortgage-backed securities. And I would expect that they're not going to. They call it quantitative tightening when overall they're sucking money out of the economy, that they're selling more assets than they're buying. And they call it quantitative easing when they're buying more than they're selling. And I think there's a really good chance that overall, as a balance, will still show quantitative tightening. They're just going to change what they're buying and selling to make sure that they're buying mortgage-backed securities, and that would bring down mortgage rates, and it wouldn't throw it into the spotlight because you wouldn't see a big change in there wouldn't be a talking point like, oh, the Fed reversed policy and they're doing QE now. It wouldn't be like that. The macroeconomic numbers would still look the same, even though they changed their policy to buy more mortgage-backed securities. Here, I'm going to share my screen quick and show you some charts on interest rates. Here we go. Okay. All right. So here, this top chart, I'll scroll up so you can see it. This is just spread chart. It's published by the Federal Reserve Bank. It's 30-year fixed mortgage rate average in the United States. So I think it's published it's updated every Thursday. This is the best place to go find out what is the average mortgage rate. And this is August 1st, 2024. Average mortgage rate for 30-year fixed is 6.73. And now if you look at August 14th, so a little over a year later, if I go to exactly a year later, here's 6.72, 6.73, almost identical, right? But over the last 2 weeks, it's came down to 6.58. So not much change over a year. Now, this bottom chart, this is also Fred from the Federal Reserve put this out. This is the Fed funds rate. This is what everybody talks about when the Fed meets and they talk about rate changes. This is short-term maturity treasuries, and where this is mortgage rates. And I want you to see, do these look like they have anything to do with each other?
Nope.
And we started a year ago, we're at 5.33, and today we're at 4.33. So they've lowered the Fed funds rate a full point. And what's happened to mortgage rates? Nothing, almost. And
Yeah.
if you look at this time period, this was really crazy. Here from September, let's go September 19th, they had just dropped a half a point, right? And we look at what's going on with mortgage rates, September 19th. In anticipation of that drop, we saw mortgage rates come down. We're at 6.08. And then the Fed just stays flat all the way till, let's see, November 6th before they drop again. At that same time, everything we lost in anticipation of this drop, we gained back plus more, right? Up to 6.78. If that doesn't show you no correlation, I don't know what is. If there is a correlation, it's almost the inverse during this period of time anyway. But I think they have nothing to do with each other. The mortgage rate follows the 10-year, and the 10-year is based on rate and inflation expectations. So it's what the market expects is going to happen. So I'm sorry, not rate and inflation, growth and inflation expectations. So if the market thinks there's going to be a lot of inflation and they think we're going to grow a lot, then you're going to see mortgage rates go up. And if they think there's not going to be inflation, if there's deflation, for instance, then mortgage rates would come down. Or if they think we're going into a depression, mortgage rates come down. And that's what runs this, with the one exception. I'll stop. The only exception is It can be completely manipulated by directly buying mortgage-backed securities. When the Fed buys mortgage-backed securities, they kind of hijack that free market system of using growth and inflation expectations to drive that number, and they just directly make it whatever they want to be by manipulating demand.
Interesting. Okay. So if you had a client right now talking about this, hey, Fed rate's going to drop, right? I want to time my purchase to take advantage of it. What's your advice?
Purchase. So you're working with a buyer in your scenario?
Sure. Buyer or seller, right? Do both sides.
Okay. I think interest rates are going to come down. So if I'm a buyer and I'm going to buy sometime in the next 6 months, I'm going to buy now, not in 6 months. And then you can refinance six
Yep.
months to a year down the road, but you can
Yep.
get in now while property values are where they're at. I think if I'm a seller, I'm staying tight. And I might have shot myself in the foot, but I put a video out, a YouTube video explaining this and sent it to all of my leads. And I'm trying to get seller leads, and I pretty much told all the sellers that they shouldn't sell right now. But
Yeah.
hopefully
Hey,
that gets some goodwill for later.
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Something else that came up. So I know we've been a little sticky here in Denver, right, with everything being harder to sell. It just is. Sellers are digging their heels in more. Buyers don't want to pay these premium prices at these interest rates, which I don't blame them either. But our median price has still been slowly ticking up, right? In most neighborhoods. There was something else while going through this because we've been scratching our heads lately going, okay, we see all the headlines and stuff. And there's way more inventory, there's twice as much inventory in Denver this year as last year, right? There's most cities throughout the country, but yet we're up like 1% year over year, slightly down. Different cities have much different numbers, median sales price year over year. And I look at these numbers in detail, but Eric, I'll give you credit. Talk to me a little bit about what you found there that also sheds some clarity because all of our buyers or sellers are so confused right now on what the heck to do. On one hand, they think prices are just plummeting and they're watching their neighborhood. Buyers are going, dude, the median price is still is what it is, like still the same as last year. What the hell's going on? Talk to me about what you found. If you're done with the interest rate part of it, and we'll tie it back in together. What did you find there?
So if you average it out nationwide, then here, let me change this view here. So if you average it out nationwide, then yeah, median prices are probably slightly up from last year. But in it's a very location specific situation right now. And so the city of Denver, for instance, we actually had the median sales price go down 10% just between June and July, and down 4% over year on year from July 24 to July 25. And also, City of Arvada, like in Denver, went down 8% from June to July and a whole 10% year over year. So it's not consistent at all. Arvada is right next to Denver, and one went down 4% and one went down 10% year over
Yeah,
year. And then we have Centennial that it's up 12% year over year, which is just southwest of Denver. So it's very pockety right now. Nobody knows quite what's happening, but there's a couple things I want to point out too. If you see the median house price stay the same from one year to the next year, but with higher interest rates, and if the median house is not the same house, then the median house price being the same doesn't mean the market didn't move. With higher interest rates, there's more cash buyers buying more expensive houses. So let's say the average house was 1,000 square feet in 2024, and now the average sold house is 1,200 square feet. Now maybe the price didn't change, but it's a bigger house for the same price, right? So the data isn't, I think a better metric, and they vary this on you and they won't give it to you. It would be the, I wish they made this chart, but the seller concession
yeah,
adjusted sales price per square foot.
yeah,
That would give you the real story about what's happening. But I think a lot of the correction that we've had over the last year is hidden in the numbers because of
yeah.
the way they present them.
So I want to show you what he's talking about. Can you share my screen with you?
Yeah,
Let
here,
me.
ask and I'll say, or I'll make, just ask and I'll say yes.
I already did.
It
Sorry.
didn't come up.
Okay.
Alex Moore. I don't know. I could try to
Oh,
make you
stop
host.
sharing first. You
Here
might
we
have to
go.
stop.
I'm gonna make you host.
Okay.
There you go.
So what he's talking about here. So this is where I am a numbers guy,
We can't see.
and
Oh, there we go.
I was getting really confused by this. So I took a neighborhood in Denver, right? Because on the streets, everything feels like it's crashing and burning, right? Dropping 25, 50, 75 grand, 100 grand just to get stuff sold. So I took neighborhood I know really well in Denver, micro market, and went, okay, I know this neighborhood well. What the heck? So I went through NRMLS, and this is what you need to look at because, man, it was driving me bonkers. I separated this by size of house, by a sales price, by time of year, like every single way. And what it was showing was that, let me see, it was showing this was the median close price in this neighborhood, right? So 2022 was an anomaly, right? 600,000 median close price. Then it dropped down 530. So that's a fair chunk. And then it was up to 545. Then it was up to 557. So essentially, we're up 5-ish% over the last 2 years, right? Down still a little bit from 2022 craziness, but still up. And no matter which way I looked at this, average close price, median close price, separating, I couldn't figure it out until,
Yeah, yeah, because what you're living isn't this, right?
yeah,
Because we're buying and selling houses all the time, and it's definitely not going up. But
no,
anyway, go
no,
ahead.
it's definitely not going up.
Yeah,
And then this is where Eric was like, and again, I'll credit to you, buddy. So I wonder what the price per square foot is. So as more expensive homes are selling, and 25% of the market is coming off the market because they're expiring because they're not getting their dream price, and more affluent people are not as affected by interest rates if they're paying cash. Most people paying cash probably are buying higher priced homes. Okay, makes total sense. So what we deduced is that more higher priced homes are selling, and that's affecting the median sales price. So we look at the same exact neighborhood over the last 5 years. 2022, the total price per square foot closed was 438 in 2022, even though that was the peak median close price year. And the next year in 2023, it went bonkers up to 488, right? So 10% jump. Then we went down to 441. Then we went down to 414. So we are down 20% from 2023 in 2 years in this neighborhood at price per square foot closed.
yeah,
And that is the story. And when I run this in the different neighborhoods, this is the number that is tracking. So if you guys are struggling showing clients, sellers, this one just closed at X price and this one, and the news says that we're up by 1% year over year, this is what you need to do is look at this and go, okay, I understand that, Mr. Seller. This is what we're seeing. These are the few comps, but the closed prices are not the ones driving prices. We all know that closed comps are not setting the prices. It's all the active and under contract that are making us race to the bottom, essentially. And this is the number I can finally pull out and show people to go, look at what your neighborhood has done on price per square foot over the last couple of years. And every single neighborhood in Denver is like this, except for one or two of the craziest, hottest neighborhoods around. So I would urge you, if you're struggling getting the story across, look at your price per square foot median over the last 5 years, and that'll tell a better story.
cool. I hadn't taken the time to look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the new build communities too, folks. If you've been working with anything built in the last 5 years or so, it's a shit show out there right now.
The seller concessions is you need the seller concession adjusted sales price to just
Yeah,
see what's going on, especially in the new build.
yeah,
What you were just looking at with price per square foot, that still isn't accurate. It's still worse than that
correct.
because there's more seller concessions now than 2 years ago. So,
Yeah, yeah, 10 to 20 grand on almost every sale is what we're seeing here. Every market's different, but that's pretty common here. Seven is on the low end, and that's more than 50% of them have seller concessions of that level or more, I'd say. And yeah, I did the numbers the other day. I've got clients looking for a newer home right down the street from a new build Lennar home or Richmond home, whatever it was, at $1 million offering 4.5% interest. That same house to get the same payment down the street on a used house that's 4 years old, 3 years old, it's like a 20 30% difference. It's massive. It's not small. I think for every 1%, it's a 10% difference in sales price on the interest rates to have the same exact payment. And so they're going, I can get this $1 million house now and pay $4,500 a month, or I can get this $900,000 house over the way that's a few years older, and we're going to be paying $5,800 a month. Why the heck would I do that? And that's seller concessions. Again, the sneaky way to work it in and not have it reflect pricing.
I
So
think
yes,
we're in the middle of a housing crash, definitely in Denver and in a lot of other pocket cities across the United States, and no one sees it because we're being gaslit about what's really happening. And
yeah,
but they know it, and the Fed's going to step in at some point and fix it. I before hearing about this UWM thing, I had no idea how far this would go right before they step in. Like how bad will they let it drop before they step in? And now now that UWM's doing that, it looks like we're probably close.
yeah, I totally agree. So I'm trying to get my buyers off the fence, but hell, I try to get my buyers off the fence this time every year, and they all do the same damn thing to me. They all go, we're gonna wait until more inventory in March or April or something. I'm like, it's the wrong thing
Yellow.
to do, folks.
Yeah.
But all right, what any we'll open it up here unless you got anything more, Eric. Any other questions or concerns, comments you guys have? Do you think we're nuts? Do you think we're out to lunch here? Do you think we're onto something?
Here, one sec.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I
Cool.
got you.
No, I don't have anything else on that topic. So I think let's yeah, open it up. I know Michael's probably got some info for us. He's been running ads and we can't hear you, Michael. You're not muted either. What the hell?
Nope. He's just there hanging out.
He
Well,
was
no more
talking.
questions,
He's
concerns?
talking, but we can't hear him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right. Well,
yes.
that's it,
Anybody
ladies and
got
gentlemen,
anything?
then. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Has anybody got anything to add? Here, one sec. Michael might be typing something in the chat. Maybe not. I don't see anything.
Nope. Okay.
All right, Michael, if you got something, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I think we're gonna call it.
Okay. Oh,
Nope.
oh, wait. He did texted Eric a couple days ago. Did a trifecta with a seller, buyer, and loan.
Yes, I did. I saw that, which was he's definitely got it in the back of my mind that maybe I need to get my mortgage broker license too.
Are you sure having three licenses is a smart thing to do, Eric? To say that anybody else would have more advanced market knowledge than you if anything went sideways, you'd be lying to yourself.
Yeah. 41 grand off one deal. That is so awesome, Michael. That pays
Totally.
for a lot of marketing
Yeah.
or advertising. That
Yeah.
is so cool. 41 grand on one deal that he
Sweet.
didn't
Yeah.
flip.
Yeah, guys, just to keep you updated, we're still running Facebook ads. We've pivoted off of Google a little bit because they've actually been better, believe it or not. And we're paying what, 30 to 40 bucks per lead right now in Denver, closing still 1 out of 23 of them. They've been stickier, less contact rate on some of them, but compared to what Google was doing over the last 6 months with all the AI garbage they had going through there, messing up their system, we're still getting motivated sellers to reach out to us and we're still writing deals. Hell, we got to grind it out a bit more, but it's still working.
Gotcha. So Josh is asking which Facebook ad should we be using right now? The news reporter one is really landing well in Denver, but what I think is the better route is use all of them in the library and let them run. And what happens is Facebook's going to just start showing the one that converts the best the most. So rather than because every market's a little bit different, I would run all of them that are in there right now.
Okay.
I've got a new one that I'm proud of. Here, sharing is not turned on. Here, let me take host back. I'm gonna.
And you,
I know we're gonna wrap this up quick, but yeah, I want to share this video because it's pretty cool, I think. And we'll see if the market thinks it's cool. I'm testing it right now, so you're not gonna see it in the group until I know it works. Video ads, video 15. Let's go. Here it is.
What if I bought your house for $1 million?
Get the highest offer. Get the most money.
I actually probably can't get you $1 million, but I can get you the highest price.
Get in my belly. Oh.
Gross fat bastard. Just click the button below and get an offer today. Yeah, baby.
Click the button below, enter your
Do
address,
you
and we
fall
will get you an offer
into
on
any
your house
copywriting
today.
issues and stuff? You're gonna
Well,
find out.
it's just enough different that I think I'm okay. But
Yeah, they'll let you
if
know.
not, I'll just remove it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that will become a thing here at some point, but
yeah,
it's not yet. No, regulators haven't caught up to a lot of the AI stuff.
yeah. Sweet. Awesome. All right, guys, keep going. Keep letting us know if you got questions. Until next week.
Sounds good. Well, later, guys. See ya.